This formidable figure has left the firehouse to fan the flames of fortune, setting the financial world ablaze with his fiery flair. This fearless force of fiscal fortitude is the guy who can turn a budget into a bonfire and make a cash flow like lava. Representing the marketing marvel Uptick, it's the mastermind with the mightiest touch. It's the fantastic, the formidable. It's Jerry Fresco. Sir, what's up, Jerry?
Pretty fucking good, Peyton. Pretty
Well,
fucking
talk
good,
about
Peyton. Listen, next time you do my intro, though,
yes.
you talk about don't call me the Golden God. You call me the Golden Gun because of this
Okay,
fucking rocket right arm I have when I
dude.
spike on you when we play volleyball.
Okay, not gonna ever do that because that's fake news. Fake news. All right. The virtuoso has left his mark on gaming giants like Jagex, King Mobile, Miniclip, and Rovio. But he's not just riding on past glories, he's plunging headfirst into the pandemonium of bullet hell bliss with the Call of Duty Avoid. How does Sam do this? The currently playable sensation talking iOS and Android by storm. Get ready to welcome the titan of the touchscreen, a maestro of mobile magic, the bullet hell baron, the virtuoso Void. It's Matthew Buxton. Hopefully, I pronounced that right too. Oh, is he not even here?
Yeah, no,
Yes,
that
he
was all
is
good.
here.
That was all good. Thank you so much.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I was doing some Wi-Fi rugging there. I think people need to intro Sam. I mean, I haven't seen a sign of Stefanina running the wolves across the like frozen
Hell
plains
yeah.
of. We got to do one for him. I mean, like, let's get him a proper intro.
We do. We definitely need to. I need to find the one that I did for Sam on. I think it was your 50th episode, or is it maybe it was a year episode, Sam? I need to bring it back, throw it back. But definitely it was prepping way longer to find it. All right. Next up, whether it's building sporting good empires or assembling a tent on your grave, he's pulling off 360s on the slopes, 360 no scopes in shrapnel, bouncing from Brussels to Brazil and back again. It's the sharpshooter of shrapnel, the undisputed king of controllers. The redemption arc continues with Dub, man. I love you to death, buddy. What's up?
Holy shit, I love you too, dude. I don't know what characters in my head. Like I got Larry the Cable Guy at a NASCAR event ordering beer in a crowd is kind of like the vibe you're
Yeah.
giving off. And fucking man, I'm eating all of it. I love it. I need more of
Beer
it.
on a Friday
It's a
night, Dub.
freaking wild ride, dude. Yeah, dude. It's wild. I'm just like drowning in freaking games too, dude. I need another hand or something to play all these things. I'm freaking love it. Life is great.
Yeah, I'll give you another hand, buddy. Anyways, we've got 10 Star Atlas crew packs to give away, and the first one will go to someone who retweets the space before we finish the introductions. So thanks for Star Atlas for those, and I think possibly Marco Wagner is going to be coming a little bit later, and we have an intro once he does. But without further ado, with a portfolio packed with projects, this multi-time founder has fired up 5 NFT collections on Farcaster. That is 5 NFT collections on Farcaster, each selling out quicker than you can say gas fee. What? Now he's building the Farcade, a fantastical and functional arcade inside of the social media platform Farcaster. It's the father of Farcade, the social sharp shifter or shapeshifter. My apologies, buddy. It's Charlie Blackstock.
What is up? I'm so happy to be back. It's been a minute since I've been on Gamified. Peyton, love you, bud. You're the best roommate in the world. For those who don't know, I got the pleasure of rooming with Peyton at what was that? Consensus? It was
Consensus.
awesome. That was so much fun. Right, man. I love it. Let's get into it.
Definitely was Little Spoon, but we won't talk about that. Prepare yourselves for a whirlwind of wisdom. He's the co-founder of Game 7, the Brian behind the BD, partnerships and strategy, steering the ship through the stormy seas of Web3 with the precision of a seasoned sailor. That's right, I'm talking about Huya Navy. He's built Norris Capital, a Web3 investment fund, and co-founder San Francisco Blockchain Week, shaping the very foundations of the future. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. He stumbled upon his love for crypto through sports betting back in 2016, Dave Poirier's run for his money. And since then, he's been stacking successes like he used to stack wins in Dota as a semi-pro player. That's really cool. Welcome to the panel, the Dementor of Dota, the Guildmaster Game 7. It's Steven. He's supposed to say Dominator, but I said Dementor. Hopefully you're a Harry Potter fan.
Payson, you're freaking hilarious, man. But dude, you're killing these intros. Sam,
man.
if I were you, I'd be kind of like worried. Like he's trying to steal your job out here.
No, this is a one-time deal. I'm retiring after this for sure. You don't know how long I've taken to practice these intros, Steven. It's been like literally 48 hours.
It's very impressive, bro.
I think Will's is here. Okay. For 22 out of 23 years, he gamed on computers so terrible they made dial-up looking dazzling, forcing him to master indie games while others get PTSD from COD lobbies. That's definitely me. In college, he snuck back-to-back sobers in Super Smash Bros. Tournaments, showing he's a contender in any arena. Now, when he's not lifting the weight of the world as a strongman bodybuilder, he's crafting marketing magic for Stardust. Give it up for the incomparable, the unstoppable Wills.
Absolutely crushing it with the intros, Peyton. Though be wary, Lem's voice has held it out since last week, but you're going too hard. You might end up like Sam. You're putting yourself in a dangerous position. I just want you to take care of yourself. But yeah,
No.
great job, loving it.
Definitely gonna fly to Utah so I can cuddle with the dude. All right, keep your eyes. Yep, there it is. Keep your eyes keen as we kick off the introductions for a king of cutting edge creativity. Hanging from the cliffs of commerce, the Kaiser of the keyboard has climbed to the peak of digital dominance. With a knack of navigating the knotty complexities of the tech world, he's a key architect before countless killer startups, the most recent of which is the #1 trading card game in the world called Parallel. You might have heard of it, maybe, maybe not. When he's not building cutting edge products, he's weighing Sam down in co op games and watching 4-hour-long movies. Welcome to the panel. It's the Prince of Parallel, the son of scaling. Give it up for Koji. What's up, Koji?
What's up? I like the new intro. I like the 4-hour movie thing. That's Sam and I have been discussing what's too long for a movie, and I say nothing. There's no such thing as too long. But Peyton, I love the energy, man. I wish I had Peyton energy just like in my everyday life. You know,
Yes,
I need
sir.
it.
Download Parallel today. That's what I'm saying. I'll play TCGs at this level, Koji. Just let me know. All right. And then whether he's sculpting through the latest hot topics or basking in the spotlight of our stage, the reptilian regular is always a step ahead. Weighing at 2.4 pounds and 3 ounces is a little lizard legend who leaves a Godzilla-sized impression. He's a legend in my heart. It's my co-host today, Lems, and forever will be. What's up, buddy?
GM. Oh, I must be packing on the weight. Gained another 3 ounces in the last week.
Sir.
Jeez, eating too many flies over here. But yeah, killing it on the intros. You're so loud that it actually like Twitter's muting you because you're just that emphatic.
Oh, am I peaking? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, my career is definitely peaking as well. So it matches, buddy. It matches. All right. And for that, just let me know, Lems, whenever we have the winners of the 10 Star Atlas crew packs, or not 10 of them, but the first few winners of the 10 Star Atlas crew packs. And we already have 24 comments. If you guys have not, just retweet the space. Really do appreciate it and everything you do. And then hopefully I don't peek out for the rest of the specific show. And we also have to mention our sponsors. Get ready for a ride down the coolest, most colossal slope in the blockchain universe with Avalanche, the official blockchain of Gamified. With speed that leaves lightning in the dust and security so tight, even a Yeti couldn't break through. It's pretty compelling, but here's the frosty cherry on top, everyone. Avalanche is the onboarding, the biggest names knowing the masses will follow. Konami, Solo Leveling, Off the Grid, and MapleStory are all building their own subnets with RoboKaiden. Dude, I clap cheeks in that game. That's super sick that they mentioned it here. On Elixir, more sure to follow. And elsewhere on Avalanche, prepare for a thunderdome of tactical turmoil where every bullet blazes a trail of triumph. Shrapnel is just rewriting the rulebook. It's blowing it to bits with the explosive excitement and fiery ferocity. This extraction shooter is a blast of brilliance, demolishing the competition with its unmatched intensity. Plus, it's your portal to a payload of prizes with monthly SCX back on the menu. Pair your gameplay with a Shrap token or an operator to unlock next level of opportunity. Huge thank you to Shrapnel for being the official game of Gamified, which is powered, baby, by Stardust. Starnet is the next generation and network powering the $100+ billion spent per year on user acquisition. Instead of being owned by Google and Facebook, Starnet is owned by games and apps, creating a decentralized and equitable ad tech ecosystem. Starbase, the first application is the Starnet ecosystem, is the premier missions platform designed for gamers. Play games, complete missions, and earn gems. Starbase is the premier missions platform showcasing the best playable games in Web3. Big thank you to Starnet, Stardust, Starbase, and the stars I'm seeing after reading all that. I'm definitely lightheaded for being the official infrastructure of Gamified. Love it, love it, love it. All right.
I need a fucking cigarette, Peyton. This is too much.
Yo, Jerry,
10 out of 10 performance,
Jerry,
Jerry.
stop stealing my
Jerry,
lines.
stop being
It's
a hater,
overwhelming.
brother. Blue Lock is way better than whatever anime you like. All right.
Jerry, stop
He's
stealing
up
my
on
lines, man.
He is up on the stage, or at least connecting now, but brace yourselves for a whirlwind of wit and wizardry. Our next guest is a charismatic chieftain who has mastered the mystical marketplace of Magic Eden. The RuneScape enthusiast has spent countless hours mining, crafting, and slaying his way to glory in Galanor. And as architect behind the Rise of Soar and 11 Esports, he's built esports champions from the ground up, turning raw talent into polished professionals. He's the empower of esports, the maven of Magic Eden. Knock, knock, who's there? It's Knock. What's up, buddy?
Absolutely fucking love it, Peyton. So good to hear your voice, bro. I'm glad that it actually works. The first time I joined the panel, I couldn't fucking hear you. So Twitter Space is at it again from, the very beginning of the show.
Yeah, gotta love
We're
it.
being DDoSed, man. Just DDoSed.
DDoS, yeah, gamified cannot be contained. But we have our first topic here today. Big deal, little deal, no deal. Oh, actually, before we do that, there's a first winner already retweeting in the space, Cypress Phoenix. Thank you so much for retweeting it. Also, an amazing person. You should follow him. An amazing community manager. Definitely check him out. Great person all around. But without further ado, big deal, little deal, no deal. Off the Grid hits PlayStation 5. We've been waiting for this for a very long time. Off the Grid is now on PlayStation, soon to be on Xbox. The game is still under NDA, but many people in the community are saying this is a game that could onboard players to Web3 gaming because the gameplay is 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, and it's actually a AAA quality and not just using that as just kind of a nomenclature. So in the past, we've said these games coming to console would be a big deal. But now that this time has arrived, do you think that it is? So Off the Grid is available on PS5. Big deal, little deal, or no deal. Dub, I saw you shoot that hand up. Continue on with the redemption arc, buddy.
Bro, huge, massive deal. Like, it's not only a big deal that they're on PlayStation because it's gonna like make the templates for the rest of us to get on PlayStation, but it's also making Xbox that much sweatier, ready for their game of choice to come in. Huge props to Off the Grid. Actually was checking out Technocore last night too, and I mean they even have a great mobile game. So like, really props to these guys. I think they have a lot of UA funnels that are going to churn and do really well, and looking forward to seeing the results from that.
That's awesome. Also, another fellow brother on Avalanche, Koji.
Yeah, I'm gonna go big deal with the caveat that I want to see how the blockchain and NFTs and all the rest sort of interact with it, especially given that it's on console. Like, I feel like Sony's like especially tight with stuff like that. So I'll be curious to see if it's just a version of the game that doesn't have any of that stuff, or how it's gonna work really. Because yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that much about it, and I haven't been able to play it either. So. But I'm gonna go tentatively big deal.
Yeah, for sure. And then when I asked some people too, like, I asked them like, is Guns tokens allowed on consoles, or is Guns like going to be like swapping purchases or anything? They said that they can't. They have a plan, but they can't be disclosed. So we'll see what that means on that. So next up is Matthew.
Yeah, I'd say this is a fucking huge deal. And I'm not only saying this because most of our cap table is betting on this. I'm just saying this because, like, if you compare the number one game that everyone quotes when they talk about the space as Axie Infinity, and we compare this to Off the Grid, like, come on, man. We have leveled the fuck up. This is going to be really, really interesting. I really think that there are probably better games from gameplay, not so many better games from looks. And what they've done is just phenomenal. In the time they've had, like AAA games cost more than they've raised, and they have raised a lot. So I'm really impressed with what the team's accomplished. And I just wish them the best of success. Like, there cannot be a better case. Everyone is jumping on this, and a game like this succeeding.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're talking about like how there might be some people better in terms of gameplay. That might be true. I kind of describe Off the Grid as kind of like Apex Legend and Warzone had a kid, but then like married Fortnite no build, and then had another kid, and that like Off the Grid. So like adult version of that. Honestly, it's a really fun game. I've played it like now 2 weekends in a row. I definitely can concur that it is a very fun gameplay and graphically very impressive. Nah.
Yeah, big deal. Huge deal, I would say, but for maybe an entirely different reason than the rest of the panelists here. Anytime you are pushing the envelope or pushing the status quo of a particular industry, it's really important that you've got a team or a company who is in a good position to challenge those boundaries to be the first one into the fray. And I think when you're talking about a massive Web3 title with a ridiculous amount of funding that is being billed as a AAA title, that is going to something like console and PS5 and probably somewhere down the line Xbox as well, I think it challenges or will put to the challenge the Web3 belief that a really high quality game with a big budget that is just good and fun to play will outweigh the concerns that traditional Web 2 users have when it comes to Web 3. Things like NFTs are a scam or Web 3 is bullshit, yada yada yada. There's no longer like this belief or this ability for us to hide behind this anymore, right? This is a massive title moving into a massively popular distribution channel, and now it's time to put money where our mouth is. I'm glad it's a team like Off the Grid and in a product like Off the Grid, which is really polished and looks great. But I think that this is a big deal for the entire industry because it's really the first time that a game of this caliber is going to be front and center on PS5, available to a bunch of people at home, sitting on their couches playing video games. And it will really challenge the belief that so many of us have that, which is, a good game will outweigh everything else. I don't know that I believe in that entirely, but I do think that it's a good thing that the team that is going to be the first to market in this capacity is a team like Off the Grid.
No, 100%. It's a good point. And also, you kind of mentioned too, like, the Web 2 specific people don't really care. Like Asmongold a few videos back when talking about Power World, where a lot of people were getting like controversy over like animal cruelty or whatever. Asmongold's like gamers just don't care about that. All they care about is like a fundamentally fun product. Dub.
Yeah, to Koji's question, what I've been seeing on the timeline of people chatting about is that the NFTs are flowing. Essentially, from the PlayStation point of view to the mobile game point of view, players are actively minting these items, and it seems like there's a really interesting token play going on where you can essentially use the token, but it's going to be reset while the NFTs are going to be staying in people's accounts. So I think it's a super interesting model that we also haven't seen before as an industry. So really looking forward to all of the like kind of mystery of it all kind of being removed and for official statements coming from the team about what they've done and what we've seen so far from Metrics point of view.
Amazing. Sam.
Yeah, I just wanted to add my anecdotal evidence that I have not had a single person tell me they didn't like this game, and nobody has ever told me it was less than a 9 out of 10, which is insane. And it's still in early alpha, which I think tells you how long they've been in development, how long that they've been, a well-funded team working on this, which despite all the other things, is the intangible factor that goes into making a great game. So I'm really fucking excited.
Yeah, same, and I can echo that. Like, Wolves have been playing. Shout out to Crypto Stash and his GIA agents. They've been literally running squads every single weekend, farming those specific NFTs. And concur with Dub on what he said about the tokens are going to get wiped, the guns token in game, but it really kind of produces them this marketplace that really flows really well. Jerry.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I think everybody touched on it really well. I think one of the things I want to talk about is the way that they've kind of gone about getting to this point differently than we've seen in Web3 up to this point, right? And that's just by shutting up and not overpromising the world. Like sometimes the best thing you can do is just keep your mouth shut a little bit and build quietly and start to deliver good things. And that's really the opposite of how we see most teams approach Web3. They start with this grand vision, they start with all these promises, and then fail to deliver on them. And then we get pissed off about it. If you think about it, the Off the Grid team and the Gunzilla team is one of the teams we know the least about, right? We ask all these questions and we talk about them so much because nobody fucking knows. And they do something that's unfathomable in Web3. They actually stick to their NDAs, so you can't even really get a lot of inside information to them. And look at him now, right? Like everything's working out perfectly. Nobody's pissed off. Everybody's just impressed, right? So sometimes the best thing you can do is just keep your mouth shut, build cool shit, and ship it when it's ready.
Yeah, we talked about it on Ready Up of like it probably increasing the standard and having a different playbook towards success, right? Like you don't have to go in and launch an NFT mint 3 years prior to an alpha and do all that stuff. I think also the community of Web3 gaming is also going to have a higher standard for games that are coming to the market and trying to sell us assets that we probably won't see for probably another few years. Not.
Yeah, I think Jerry missed a really important piece in that equation, right? The first step is not only build a game in silence and then deliver something that people are excited about. The first step is raise 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 million dollars, so you don't have to ever deliver any product and you can stay silent and off the realm of social media. I think what you've seen here is this is a really high quality team that has a massive amount of funding. In 2022 they announced 46 million. In March of this year they announced an additional, I don't know if it's an additional or a separate piece of that first raise, 30 million. So their funding is anywhere between 50 million US dollars and 80 million US dollars, which is truly exceptional. Even in the world of Web3 gaming, there are very, very few teams that have raised even remotely close to that amount of money. So they don't have to launch an NFT because they don't need to extend their runway. They don't need to build any community in the ecosystem because they have a marketing budget that'll allow them to front run or to get ahead of that, a lot of that community building or the need for it. And they probably want to distribute a lot of that cash through traditional Web2 channels anyway. So yes, this is an exceptionally smart way to build a game, especially in Web3, where you just deliver a product and everybody loses their mind and it's going to work out for them, or it seems that it has worked out for them. But it is not something that the overwhelming majority of teams in either Web3 or traditional Web2 channels can ever afford to do. This is not the norm. It is a truly exceptional case in the way that they went about this because they have a truly exceptional amount of funding.
Yeah, concur. And then also just to follow up on Knock, they did sell nodes, just so you know, and they're still kind of selling nodes. So they do have some type of assets, but it's more like back channel than anything else. Koji.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I will say is I think that this is like this is a bit of the lauding is a bit of a hindsight situation. I mean, when projects were announcing NFT sales and doing all this stuff, we were just like, fuck yeah, this is the Web3 way. Develop out in the open. Like we should be super transparent and Web2 doesn't know what the fuck they're doing and whatever. And now we have a project that, from what I hear has like a very good product, has been like sort of like stealthily building, leaking things out here and there, but keeping it very quiet, very much the Web2 way of gaming. And we're like, this is how projects should fucking do it, right? And I mean, you're not wrong, but that's how games have been made for like years and years and years and years. So like maybe we should just throw all this Web3 shit out the window and just like do it the way that it's always been done.
That's a good point. And somebody that kind of has that same type of thought process for you was Icy in the comments. I know this is what Lems was going to mention, but says, he tagged Sam. Sam, I thought I wanted teams to build in public, Jerry, but OTG is making me reconsider that position. So definitely, some people that might share your opinion, Koji. And also for that Icy, you're going to get one of these crew packs for Star Atlas. So thank you for being active in the chat. I really do appreciate it. I think the next person, Knock, you wanted to either rebuttal or add on to it.
Yeah, just adding to Koji's piece, particular with Off the Grid, about 40 episodes ago, the conversation was, should we be giving teams that raised 50, 60, 70 million dollars and haven't said anything shit for extracting a bunch of capital from the Web3 ecosystem, right? So it's a case of the Web3 audience being incredibly short-sighted in their ability to see, anything beyond what's happening over the course of the next 2 or 3 weeks. And it's a reminder that games take a while to build and different teams approach it differently, and we should allow teams to at least deliver a product before we make judgment on whether or not they were a waste of money.
For sure. It's really good points. Charlie.
Yeah, I think the build in public topic is super interesting because I think we're seeing it more and more, and not even just in Web3, but even in Web2 products like indie hackers and building in public is such a popular trend. And I think it's important to remember with NFTs and crypto, we are experimenting not just with technology, but like organization and governance and DAOs. And like we're trying to push the needle in a lot of different directions and ways that people haven't done before. And so I think we're still trying to find what the right balance of, building in public, sharing plans, building out in the open. And I think the reality is that there's just not enough people in Web3 and we're all spread too thin. So building in public, it feels like you're talking to the same 10,000 people that are involved in every other gaming project. And so the cohorts aren't like small enough and niche enough. But I do think building in public with gaming is still going to be very popular because I think we're going to be able to iterate on games super, super fast with like AI and modern tools. Where I think building in public is going to be really cool because you'll be able to see tremendous changes based on like DAO governance votes that AI implements overnight. So I think there's going to be really cool trends in the build in public. And like Knox said, I think this is more of a case that the team raised ungodly amounts of money. So I think they get to build I think they get a lot of time to build and take their time, which a lot of teams need to raise money through NFTs to afford the money or afford the funding to develop a game. And so they want to build in public because they essentially have a lot of public stakeholders, and that's the best way to like appease everybody. So I think it's a really interesting trend, and I think I'm excited to see how it evolves over the next couple of years.
Yeah, 100%. I think even when it comes to building in public, I think a lot of game studios are not, I guess, structured in a way, and maybe Koji can come in and fix me if I'm wrong here, but like a lot of the game studios are not really structured in a way to provide live ops on these like kind of public showings. So there's kind of this issue too of like, oh, there's expectation of live ops, and also at the same time building in public, which actually slows down development time a lot more than people probably think, because everyone's just kind of like rushing towards the next like public showcasing and not actually going for like a long term hindsight or long time view sight. Matthew.
Yeah, so I just want to say, like, a lot of people are saying about the amount of money they raised, and I actually think even if it is like 54 million, and I've checked the website, it was something around that level, it's actually surprisingly low considering they're making such a good game that has so much hype. And I mean, maybe this is a testament to the Web3 marketing strategy here, or maybe this is just in general their approach that they focus more on the game. But when you raise that much money and you're competing with people who are spending multiple billions with, let's say, just 4 or 5 studios making the same game that they've been making for 20 years with 4 or 5 studios and thousands of people, you're like, it's a really difficult thing because the AAA space is very, very difficult to get in with a new IP. It happens usually through AA. But with AAA, the majority of the biggest games out there are franchises with multiple titles that have been building on the same engine for years, have had the same team for years, has had the same stable management structure for years. So I'm really impressed with what they've managed to achieve with what I think is a very, very small fraction of the amount of money that they really need to do one of these incredible marketing campaigns. So what I would like to say is maybe temper a little bit of expectations and maybe expect a huge blowback when the Web 2/Web 3 is evil people get in touch with it. But I do think the one thing that bodes very, very well, even in a Red Sea extraction shooter market, is there are always new and up and coming people looking for something to stream that no one else is, and that could be the difference.
Great points. That was a really great segment about Big Deal. I think overall the sentiment was big deal when it comes to PlayStation, just to kind of round out that specific subject. And also a really great comment by McChillan in the comments. And Sam is doing an amazing job at literally, he's hand holding me all the way through. It's like coaching me through these Discord DMs. But McChillan says, if I gave you $100 before you put anything out, I do kind of expect to be able to provide input or see early builds and how you're developing. So probably another specific tally for what Charlie's point was about building in public, and it's like, hey, there's some type of expectation that you talk to me instead of me just buying and then waiting for 2 years. Next up, Esports World Cup halftime report. I'm definitely going to be probably relying on Knock a little bit for this, but are you ready to call this a success? What we're talking about here is that they're halfway through the 2 months Esports World Cup event, and here are some stats so far. 260K concurrent viewers on female Mobile Legends Bang Bang, fourth highest for a female event of all time. The largest third-party League of Legends tourney in the last decade. $60 million prize pool, 1 billion impressions on social media, 60,000 tickets sold, still 13 competitions to go, including PUBG, Rocket League, StarCraft 2, Fortnite, and so much more. Are you ready to call this a success, or is there another word for it? This is a source out of VentureBeat for anybody that is wondering for that. But yeah, in terms of Esports World Cup halftime report, are you ready to call this a success? Dub.
Oh yeah, dude, records are being broken. Someone called Guinness like that. For me, that's success right there. Like no matter what they do for the rest, they could cancel the rest of the World Cup, and it looks like they're winning to me.
Thank you for that, Dub. Also saving me while hands were getting up and people were collecting their thoughts. Knock.
Yeah, a lot to unpack here. Is it a success from the point of view of garnering a ton of eyeballs and attracting some top tier talent and putting on a pretty good show in a bunch of esports? Absolutely. Is it a success in creating a fair and maybe, transparent program? Absolutely not. You know, positioning this as like a $60 million tournament is a little ridiculous to me when there is exactly one team who is participating in all the esports, and that team happens to be a team from the same region that this tournament is being held on, and had a heavy hand in planning and organizing the event. The way that this works is, for some background, the way that this works is they've put together 20 or 30 different games. They brought in top talent from all over the globe. They are putting them head to head in these tournaments, and they're attributing teams or esports organizations points based on their individual athletes performance in a particular game. So if I have a FIFA player and a StarCraft player, well, then I have the ability to earn points in those two titles. The trick is there isn't like a cap on the way that these points are distributed. So a team like Team Falcons, who is one of the organizers of the Esports World Cup, has representation in literally every single esport that is available in the tournament, whereas a team like Navi has representation or in one or two titles. So Navi wins CS:GO and they earn their points from CS:GO, but they don't have any other talent to compete in the other events. So the leaderboard that they have on their homepage when you type in esportsworldcup.com is complete bullshit, right? It's really who is playing more, who brought more talent to the actual event, and who spread out mediocre esports athletes in the highest number of events to accrue points on the leaderboard. That's kind of what's happening here. So I think it's exciting because some of the events, like League, like CS, were actually like genuinely entertaining. They had real top tier talent. Some of these tournaments were actually considered S tier events in their particular circuits. So for those of you who are unaware, every single event that happens in a major esport, primarily the top tier ones, are graded. S tier meaning an international or a major event. A through D tier, giving a varying range of importance of those particular events. So some of these events have actually been deemed S tier. But then you look at a team like Toronto or Overactive Media, who comes out of Toronto, and they have a bunch of different esports properties. So they own a team in the Overwatch League, they own a Call of Duty team in the Toronto Ultra. Each of those teams are technically different properties. So the Ultra is on the leaderboard, and the team from the Toronto Overwatch League team is on the leaderboard, but Overactive Media, as a company that owns both of those teams, isn't scoring cumulative points. To me, this is a marketing event that managed to bring in a bunch of really high tier talent for what was a couple of really strong events, but is otherwise a stunt. This is a stunt to say, hey, the Middle East is the hub of esports in the world. Look, Team Falcon won. Team Falcon's also the only team competing in every single event. I have mixed feelings about this. I think it's good to get top tier talent in a single location. I think it's good to get these guys paid because they put on an incredible fucking show, and there was real strong competition in some of these events. I also think it's maybe overshadowed a little bit by the fact that anybody who has anything to do with the esports world knows that this is to some degree a little bit of a sham and what is effectively just a big marketing campaign for a Middle Eastern, esports organization.
Dude, dropping some knowledge, brother. Knowledge. Knock. That's freaking amazing, dude. I was taking notes the whole time. I was just clacking on my keyboard, brother. That's why you guys show up to
And
Gamify, man.
Peyton, just
What's up, Knock? Go for it.
and I have one more quick thing just to kind of illustrate
Yeah.
this, right? Team Falcon is sitting with 4,200 points on their leaderboard. If you take T1, Team Liquid, and Gaming Gladiators, three of the biggest esports organizations on the planet, have been around for a decade plus. Combined, they don't have 4,200 points. So just goes to show that it really is like a who has the most number of athletes competing in the highest number of events.
Freaking Ty Lopez of freaking esports is what I hear. Charlie, Charlie, you had your hand up and it's kind of going in and out. I don't know if that's a bug, but if you want to speak, you can speak now, and then I'll go to Matthew.
I was just gonna say Knox stole everything I was gonna say, so ditto.
Yeah, freaking, you're
I
that
t- I
guy
t-
that makes
that's
you're that guy that makes a course off of Ty Lopez's derivative content. So
yeah,
great,
was totally gonna say all those same things.
yeah,
Well done, Knock.
great job, Doc. Matthew, what's your take, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, going off the knock is basically being like the I like turtles kid. Um, yeah, I like turtles. Yeah, whatever Knock said, it's 100% true. But I just wanted to add a little bit more of a spicy hot take. I do think that esports needs a better funnel up from the kids. How do I reach these kids? Because the kids are not playing games. They're not doing the sort of LAN party thing. They're not doing all of this. There is no direct funnel into high level
Well, but they said
competition because it's just like iPad, Roblox, Minecraft. No one makes games for kids these days. No one knows, like kids don't know how to play with a controller unless they own a Switch, and that is the thing. And they get on PC and they're already in Roblox and Minecraft because no one is going to take the risk to put a AAA franchise in kids' hands, gets them excited. And I think we're drying up the talent of esports. And I do think that esports is kind of like the royal family, the British royal family. We pay for it to exist. We kind of believe it's kind of necessary, but it's a little bit like the emperor with no clothes. There's not that much happening outside of Asia and a few other places unless people inject shit tons of cash into it. Like the only thing that's sustaining esports is the people who believe in esports that are paying fuck tons of cash to make it happen. That's my take.
It's a good take. I like the hot topic. I like the spiciness. Jerry, you kind of unmuted for a second if you wanted to kind of comment, but if not, we'll toss it over to Sam.
no. Go ahead, Sam.
Cool.
Yeah, I was just going to add a couple of things. First off, Team Falcons is basically the equivalent of that rich kid that nobody liked in school but had all the coolest gaming systems. So we would go over to his house anyway and pretend to like him for a little bit. But then eventually he'd do something that pissed you off more than you enjoyed the game systems. And inevitably you would end your friendship with him because you couldn't pretend anymore. So fuck Team Falcons. I hate those guys. But what I will say is I'm really, really stoked to see another giant international event with a good prize pool, because even some of the biggest, most successful esports are actually still struggling in a certain sense. They might have franchising and stuff the way that League of Legends does, but people don't realize League of Legends only has 2 international events a year: Worlds, which is the big one, and then IEM, which is the in-betweener. And because of that, the skill gap between all the different regions and the ability to practice and learn metas from different regions and stuff really, really suffers. And then you take in other esports like StarCraft that just needs more money injected into it. And because of these different things, having like one central big thing where 20 different esports can all come together, have a reason to pay more players, get more eyeballs, etc. It's good for the teams themselves. Like pretty much everybody wins by this event existing. So I really do hope that this was successful for them, but fuck Team Falcons, you know?
That's hilarious, dude. Freaking awesome. Dub.
Clearly, y'all have never been on a Team Falcon before, and let me tell you, it's fucking great. So you should try it. And despite everything that Charlie was trying to say before Knock rudely interrupted him, it was that essentially like, fuck it, like it's great that someone has made the template for what this looks like, even though they clearly set it up for them to win and it's scammy. That doesn't mean there isn't a group looking at this saying like, wow, there's a model here that is net revenue positive, that is can work out, and this is how it can be fair. And you know, I hope that someone does take it and make a better global event that is more fair across the board for everyone. And I believe this is leading to that. So that's why I'm pretty stoked about it overall.
No, thanks for the comments, Dub. We'll go with Knock and Steven, then we're gonna move on to the next topic. Knock.
Yeah, I think there are a couple things that I think can't be overstated. But before that, a quick side note on Team Falcon. Sam is absolutely correct. Quick little fun story. I was buying a player for about 50,000 US dollars, which was about market rate for a player of that quality. Falcon came in with a $150,000 offer to the team that we were in negotiations with, and then continued to spend like that for the rest of the year. That was just like the behavior out of that team. So yeah, I agree. Fuck Team Falcon. But on a side note, on the more important piece. It can't be understated how well organized tournament of this magnitude was. And I think that we do and should show gratitude for the success there. This is pretty ridiculous to bring in this quality of talent. I mean, like the CSGO event in and of itself, you had Navi, you had G2, you had Virtus Pro, you had Mouse, Team Vitality, Team Spirit, FaZe Clan, Furia. These are like the heavy hitters, teams that help to shape what the Counter-Strike ecosystem looks like. It is incredible that you managed to bring all of that talent there. Rule books were pretty strong. They did a really good job of actually adjusting and putting in what has been widely accepted as like proper scoring etiquette for a lot of these tournaments like Apex Legends and Fortnite. So I think from that perspective, it's pretty fucking impressive that they were able to pull this off with like 30 or 40 different titles, especially because a lot of the organizers, namely, Epic Games, who built Fortnite, can't put on a fucking tournament this good themselves. And I think that is something that we should be excited about. It clearly shows like an ability to put on a massive show on an international scale. A lot of reasons to hate this event, but the actual organization, the ability to bring in these teams, the way that they structured a lot of the individual competitions was fair, was impressive. And as somebody who's been to their fair share of really fucking shitty LAN events and an international stage, I'm excited that everybody that I know that was there was excited about the way that this was actually put on. So kudos where kudos is deserved. But yeah, plenty of reasons to hate it. The actual organization is not one of them.
Love it, love it, love it. Steven from Game 7. Hopefully, there's like some type of organization of a digital nation state coming up.
I'm gonna jump onto the train and say, fuck Team Falcons. But in all honesty, like I think, like I actually tuned into the Esports World Cup, mainly because I follow Dota like religiously on a competitive level. And it was because my friend was like actually competing in it, gaming gladiators, and they actually ended up winning the tournament. And my friend actually ended up getting MVP of the entire tournament. So congrats to him. But it's funny because I didn't realize it was EWC, because most of the branding was still like centered around the original name, Rehab Masters. And I remember when Rehab Masters first started in 2023, the sense around the community was like, holy crap, it's just the Middle East coming in here with a bunch of money, trying to buy out all the branding and gaming. But I think they've kind of like flipped that narrative and turned it into something really, really good. Because it took a lot of work. Like they didn't just completely host this themselves. Like they got major esports tournament organizers like ESL to agree to like be their co-host, because I don't think any organization can possibly like host such a big series of tournaments across like 40 different games and genres. It's absolutely insane. So I think it's hats off to them. They coordinated everything from talent to the organizers to making sure like all the talent came in on time, and like it's a lot of work hosting conferences, like coming from that background, it's a lot of work. But I do think that like this wide distribution of games, and a lot of these games that aren't as popular, they're getting this prize pool. It's generally good for esports. I do think that there's like a huge problem with business models with esports organizations in general. And I think that like for the longevity of esports and like finding more profitable business models where like these guys are actually making money, I think it's pretty good. So yeah, overall, super happy that my friend won it.
Love that. And also, yeah, guys, just stay tuned for Game 7 and what Steven's going to be doing. I think a lot of the things that he kind of mentioned are things that G7 wants to definitely tackle. And also, just wanted to give out some Star Atlas packs before. Oh, sorry, Sam. I didn't see your hands. What's up, buddy?
Oh, yeah, I was just going to add two quick things. First off, Steven's completely right. It's an 8-week event with 22 different esports in giant bracketed tournaments. It's a massive undertaking. Like, I can't even imagine what goes into planning that thing. So, like, congrats to them for pulling it off, at least to this point. And I forgot what my second point is because I'm still sick and my brain's working at like 25% capacity. So,
All good, buddy. I'm doing the same thing. I can't even tap it. Lems, we also have some giveaways to give away for the Star Atlas packs. You've been hunting those comments, brother. Using those 3
Yeah,
ounces, burning off those 3 ounces.
you got to get rid of it. It's you called me out on it. First, shout out Icy for paying it forward. He won the pack earlier, and he's like, no, like pass it on to the next guy. Like just Icy being Icy. But yeah, a couple of good comments. We got Sika the Gorilla who said, I think the Middle East always wanted to dominate or esports for a while, but was never given the chance. Tried buying major clubs, and once they saw the opportunity online, they aped in with all they got. So you're going to be getting a crew pack. And then also a shout out to Kai and McChillan, who are just really contributing throughout that whole discussion. So yeah, hooking them up with crew packs as well. Still got many more to give away through the second half of the show as well.
Thank you, Lems. You're the best. I've actually been looking forward to this conversation. We talked about Off the Grid. Strapno is the sponsor of the show. We're going to talk about Deadrop next. What are the odds that they can pull it off? Kind of the next segment here. Deadrop is a successful game is this like example of like 30, 75% chance that like Deadrop will be a successful game based off like the development. So how Midnight Society moves forward after Dr. Disrespect's shock, and what's next for Deadrop. Following the controversy and the dismissal of Dr. Disrespect, Midnight Society is looking to ramp up the speed of Deadrop's updates while pushing out more social media activity in hopes that the strength of the game will push the project forward. I saw Cairo playing it. Of course, he's cracked at it, so definitely showing him in a good light. Until the end of August, Del Hoyo said that the Midnight Society will be cramming in all of Deadrop's major features. That's so that the studio can polish these elements across September and October before launching the game in a broader early access date in November. So what are the odds that this is going to be a successful launch in November? What are the odds of it being a successful game period? Again, example, like 30%, 75%, 50-50. And this was also a source out of Decrypt, who has like a 20-minute specific interview with Deadrop's team. We'll go to Lems. I don't know who the first one is, so I'll call upon you, and then we can go to Charlie and Matt.
All right, sounds good. I'm going to actually say 50-50. I'm pretty on the fence on this one. I think they're probably trying to, shift the narrative after the whole Dr. Disrespect debacle, and then they're like, okay, let's, ship some stuff out, like, let's change the narrative, take control of it. So I think I'm 50-50 because we know they've been, slowly working out updates, and people have complained a bit about like how much came out between some of the different drops they would do, and then there was some mixed feedback on the cars. I know some people loved it, some people hated it. So I think I'm excited that they're actually, doing this, and they're trying to get the narrative back in their control. They're trying to move on past the Dr. Disrespect stuff, but I'm 50-50 on where it goes for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and I also just want to kind of give credit to the team as well. They actually moved really quickly, I think, as soon as they found out, and was some among, like, I kind of agree with you, like the 50-50. Whenever you watch some of the creators talk about like the Dr. Disrespect drama, they sometimes reference Deadrop of like dropping them relatively quickly, which at the end of the day was the right move, and they moved really quick. Charlie.
Yeah, I'd put it significantly lower, probably like 5-10%, and that's not more of a statement on the team. It's more of a statement on just launching games in general. Like building games is exceptionally hard. It's super competitive. It's really hard to make a good game. And Paul Bettner always says these are hits-driven business. It's even if the team has everything going for it, it's still maybe a 50-50 chance if you have an amazing game, an amazing team, and have a lot going for you. Launching games is just incredibly challenging. I'm really impressed with the team, and I do love how much Midnight Society tried to be a trailblazer, not only with NFTs and blockchain technology, but also they were like one of the really good teams about building in public at the start. So I thought they've done a lot of things right. I think it's obviously very unfortunate that the brand was so tied up in a single individual. Like I honestly thought Midnight Society was owned by Dr. Disrespect until all of that happened. And so I thought he actually owned the studio. So that's like how closely those two things are intermingled. So I think the odds are certainly stacked against them. I do wish them the best, and I hope they prove me wrong. But it is just like it's such a long shot, even when things are going great. But I really do hope they do well.
No, I concur, and I also think that like they had some really cool innovation when it comes to game design in terms of like instead of the circle closing in, it pushing up. I thought it was a really cool game design. I wish that they leaned into it more. Matthew.
Yeah, so I have to say that I got some extra alpha on this because some of our cap table actually shared the deck when they were raising. And I put it this way, the deck was heavily featuring Dr. Disrespect. He was front and center of it. I mean, his career in gaming was fully exposed into this. And I have to say that I really have a lot of respect for the team. I think the team are fantastic. I looked through all of them and I really believe in them as a group. But the problem was they tied it to this guy, and I literally said my feedback on the decks that I saw was if there's something up with Dr. Disrespect, this will not go. This will not send. And so I'm sorry, I have to concur with Charlie that they tied themselves so strongly to him that unless there's a sort of Dr. Disrespect hate thing that they can actually get on the back of, I give this very small chance because it is, as he says, incredibly difficult to make a game. And the funding dried up when he dried up. And basically, a lot of the cap table will not want to actually say that they exposed themselves to this risk. And I do think influencer-led games are actually the future, especially when gaming becomes easier. Well, games become easier to create with the advent of AI agents, etc., etc. But I think this was a real miss, and it's sad because they never really pushed the narrative of the game design and the better stuff they had going on there. You could see in the deck, the team didn't actually need him, but the fact that they got him, they put everything into him. So I feel sorry for the team because they bet on the wrong horse.
Yeah, no, those are all excellent points, Matthew. I really can't add anything else onto it. Dub.
Dude, I don't know. Like I'm super believing these guys like a lot more than everyone else that I've heard so far. Like I really think that yeah, they used Dr. Disrespect in the early days of raising funds and garnishing community, but really that never left more than the Web3 bubble that we all know it doesn't really touch Web2 to begin with. So like I still think they have an open shot at goal with the game and everything they have. They've already shed everything Dr. Disrespect that was in the game, which was literally just the car. And they gave refunds to that to people even like as an option or before replacing the car. Like I think they're doing everything right given the situation, and I think they're teeing up for an excellent swing on console with the rest of us. Like I think they're gonna have a healthy attempt here, and everyone loves a Cinderella story at the end. So I think it's all wins for them.
That's awesome. Charlie, you put up your hand like right after Matthew or Dub. Did you want to rebuttal or add on to it before I move on to Knock or Jerry?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I was just saying, you gotta when you just gotta love it when you have Dub in your corner. Dub is such a good champion for people he's a fan of. It's so awesome, and he's been such a great support for us at Far World. So Dub's the man. It's great to have him in your corner, but also just in response like Matthew and just Deadrop in general. In general, like I don't think it was a mistake leaning in to Doctor Disrespect that hard. If you have that relationship and you're trying to stand out, like hell yeah, lean into that. Like I think that was such a good move on them, and like such a great like just like tactical advantage they had over other games. And it's just like a lot of building a business is taking smart risks. I think that was a great risk to take, and like something really hard to predict happened. And it's just like that's the reality of, you know, the way the cookie crumbled, so they say. But so I think the team made all the right decisions. It just is a risk and something that can happen.
Great take, Big Spoon.
Agree 100% on that.
Knock.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with the fact that this is like an incredibly talented team, and to Dub's point, I do believe in their ability to deliver a really high quality game. Um, but we all know building a game is hard. Building a shooter is probably even harder. Building a multiplayer shooter is fucking impossible. And I mean, look, even if they deliver the best shooter of 2024, even if they deliver the best shooter since 2020, it still probably won't the top 10 to 15 shooters that are currently being played and watched today. Most of the titles that people play today in the shooter category are 5, 6, 7, 10 plus years old, right? The youngest game by viewership in the top 15 for shooter games is Valorant. That was delivered by Riot fucking Games 4 years ago. Prior to that, it was Apex Legends, which at this point in time is 7 years old. The only game that has popped into the top 10 in viewership is Delta Hawk Ops, which is a new game that everybody's excited about, and a boatload of big streamers have been paid ungodly amounts of money to play that game. So of course there's going to be eyeballs on that game, over the course of the last 7 to 14 days. If you look at like Steam charts by player numbers, the top 3 games in the shooter category are Counter-Strike, PUBG, and Rust. The youngest of those games is over a decade old, right? So shooters are really, really tricky to break into when you're talking about multiplayer shooters. You typically have to have something pretty novel, which they really don't, or you have to have a combination of a really high quality game and a bunch of creators behind it, which they had, and to Charlie's point, an unforeseen circumstance lost that. So I don't think saying less than 10% chance of being a breakout game is an unfair place to put them. I think that they're an incredibly talented team. I think that they're building a really high quality game. And unfortunately, that doesn't really matter in the world of FPS multiplayer games, because most of the games that people play today for longer than a week or two are games that they have been playing for the last 5 to 10 years. It's a cutthroat industry, and it's a cutthroat vertical in one of the most cutthroat industries in the world. It's really, really difficult to deliver a hit multiplayer shooter. And a lot of teams that have been great teams that have delivered great products have come in, they've had their moment in the sun, like the finals, and they've slowly but surely faded away into obscurity like everybody before the finals. So I think it's a tricky space, it's a tricky thing, and it's even harder now that they have the controversy and the loss of Dog.
Knowledge. Dude, freaking amazing. Jerry, the golden gun. What's up, Jerry?
Yeah, the golden gun because my FPS prowess as well as my volleyball talents. I think I'm right in line with everybody else. It's between 5 and 10%. You know, they are a super talented team. Everything that everybody said is extremely true. But the strongest thing that they had going for them was that they had somebody built in who had a very heavy financial incentive to support the game and help distribute that game. Right? They had that. It was a fucking cheat code, and nobody knew that guy was a fucking creep. Right? And it's really unfortunate because when we were talking, the same people that are saying that, Off the Grid is the best FPS game they've ever played, all these same motherfuckers were saying it about Deadrop, right? I'm not an FPS guy. I didn't think it was anything special, but all the people we're listening to about Off the Grid were also saying that they felt Deadrop was really strong. They felt Deadrop could break through, right? And then you lose that advantage, and I just don't see the game being so much better than current options that they can't overcome that, right? I do think that there is like a House of Horrors kind of moment that they could have in that, like, if the game is fantastic when it comes out, you can already imagine the TikTok videos. It's going to be some dude in a fucking LED lit room and saying like, "This is the game that kicked out Dr. Disrespect," right? And if they crush it and the game vertical is just fucking good and the game loop is really good, that is their chance for success, because I think people will want to try it out just to see what is the game that Doc was involved with and is now no longer involved with. And if it's good, they can hopefully hold on to people. But I just, from what I played in it, knowing the team size and everything, they are incredibly talented. But I just don't see the game being that much better than current options that exist. And even in the Web3 space, right? The shooters have come a long way. And if we did a poll right now and we had to choose one, well, the conversation we just had was all about Off the Grid, right? So yeah, I'd say right in line with in that 5 to 10% range. And it's really unfortunate, man, because they had a fucking cheat code, and it just got taken away from some dude being a fucking weirdo.
Dude, well said. Golden gun, raise two hands. That's what I'm talking about. Knock.
Yeah, I think that there's another really important element that I think gets missed a lot of the time when you're talking about shooters. And the shooter space is in a really weird place because it's both really tried and boring, and people are desperate for something new and refreshing. And I think that's part of the reason why games like Apex and Valorant had the success that they did, because they came into the market where people were really tired of the most easily comparable game that existed at that point in time. So that, on one hand, that's true, right? People want new things. On the other hand, Nate Shot posted something yesterday that was really interesting. It was basically a video of him talking about how people, and specifically shooter gamers, seem to want to see every shooter that comes out die a fiery, painful death. It is a weird fucking thing that happens within the industry. Somebody who worked pretty much exclusively in the shooter genre when I was in esports, you saw it time and time again. Everybody hated every single game that they played, and anytime something new and refreshing came out, they fucking hated that more. And they wanted it to die so that they could go back to the old games that they hated. So it's like an added layer of difficulty to breaking into the space. You need something that is fresh, you need something that is polished, and you probably need the right timing to enter the market. But if you do and you hit it, well, then you see games like Apex and Valorant blow up and become hyper successful long term. But it's just a weird space. Like, all things considered, if you take away the doc situation, if you take away what the quality of the team, if you take away the fact that it's a Web3 game, it's just really fucking difficult, because even the people that you want to play your game probably fucking hate you before they've even tested the game.
Yeah, I'm also rooting for Shroud in the tactical shooter specific one. I'm hoping that his game kind of breaks out. And also, dude, Charlie, easy on the freaking buttons, brother. I'm worried for your finger. Steven.
Yeah, I think it really depends on the gameplay, because these are like truly the moments that really define teams. Because like shit happens in startups all the time, right? Like historically, like there's many successful companies that have like overcome even greater challenges. Like the FedEx guy literally had to go to Vegas to gamble to extend his runway. Like think about that, and think about the challenges that are being dealt with in the industry today. It really puts things in perspective. Like long term, even if like nothing happened with Doctor Disrespect, if like the gameplay is mediocre, like it really just wouldn't even change the script. Um, but like with distinguished gameplay, you can honestly overcome anything over time, even something like this that's like so fresh in people's eyes. I think that like I hope the team understands like they can basically shut everyone up with a truly good game. So I am rooting for them, even though I do think like because of what happened, chances are quite low.
Yeah, I don't think any of us want them to fail. We're all pro Web3, so any breakout hit is a good thing for us. Lems.
Yeah, just like I know we're wrapping this up, but I think this will be relevant on the second half as well. It's like, how do you define success? Because it's like, successfully launching is one thing, but as Knock mentioned, like it's a hit-driven business, and like, are you going to be a successful game long term? I was just more thinking on the lens of like, can they successfully do this and turn it around and get things back in their favor? Have a game that comes out because they're still only going into early access for the end of this year. Won't even be the full release, which I think isn't until sometime in 2025. But this will tell it'll tell a story on where it's going to go in the direction. And there's also some great comments I wanted to shout out to, like Bragg in the comments that said they were one of the teams that actually brought Web 2 gamers. Like there was probably 10% of people that were NFT people, the rest were fans of Dr. Disrespect, and the price was reasonable. I remember when it minted, it was a $50 mint if I remember correctly. People didn't even know it was an NFT. They were just buying access to the game as far as they were aware. And it was like a 10K collection, and they sold that out, and most of them didn't even realize it was an NFT, and they could just get in and play the game. Like from that angle, like they were very successful in getting regular gamers. I remember when it first came out too, Jonah was like going around with a proximity chat and just asking people if they knew what NFTs were, if they gave a shit, or if they were just like playing the game. I thought it was actually pretty cool. So it kind of sucks that they get this like kick down after having that success and bringing in regular gamers.
It's a good point. And yeah, the people that Lems has mentioned, we'll make sure that we're giving them a Star Atlas crew pack. Thanks again, Star Atlas, for giving us some packs to give away for Gamified. Knock will end out this before we get on to the second half of the show.
Yeah, I'm realizing that I never even answered the specific question was, do they have a chance to succeed in the Web3 space? The answer is absolutely yes, because even with all this drama, it's not even like the third biggest thing that has happened to a game in this space before. You have a team in Pixelmon who's a leader, who the prior team literally fucking rugged the project. You had a team in Axie and the Ronin ecosystem that have had a number of hacks and a catastrophic crash, and they are still a leader in the space because they continue to deliver quality products. I think the answer there is a pretty clear yes. From a Web3 perspective, absolutely this can still be a success because we've seen way worse happen and we've seen strong teams come back and rebound from it. And I do think that they have the DNA and the makeup within that studio to rebound from something like this.
I love that. It's a good way and positive way to end that specific segment. And again, just been a amazing time hosting Gamified. Sam, thank you for letting me do this. And I also want to thank the sponsors. Let's allocate a moment to applaud the almighty Avalanche, the official blockchain of Gamified. Avalanche isn't just flexing its muscles with speed and security, it's bench pressing all of Web3 gaming by bringing Tier 1, again, I'm reading this off the script, it's very hard, and the legend himself, Faker, into Web3. Whether you're aiming for adventure or architecting new strategies, Avalanche is the agile engine accelerating Web3 gaming. Thank you for them for being our beloved sponsor. And it's time to dive headfirst into the chaotic carnival known as Shrapnel. Imagine an extraction shooter so intense it makes a shot of Jägermeister look like a glass of water. Shrapnel is your golden ticket to the ultimate gaming glory. Enlist today, earn medal, team up with Moku, and let your strategies light up the screen like a Vegas. Mark Q, Sam? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know Vegas too much. Sin City. Thank you to Shrapnel, the official game of Gamified. Forget about the big wigs like Google and Facebook. StarNet puts the power back in the hands of games and apps and crafting a decentralized and equitable ad tech utopia. Introducing Starbase, the shimmering gem of the StarNet galaxy. It's the ultimate missions platform for gamers where you can play games, complete missions, and earn gems. Starbase doesn't just showcase the best playable games in Web3, it embodies the grand vision of StarNet. Get ready to embark on your journey with Starbase and StarNet, the ad network that's rewriting the rules and the official infrastructure of Gamified. Also, want to take a moment here to mention Sam's charity activation. He is a man that has just been doing so much for the space, and he continues to do some amazing things. So Sam tweeted about doing a charity activation and is blessed to have found a sponsor willing to match the first 25,000 in donations, which whoever that is, they want to remain anonymous, but kudos, man. Thank you so much for doing that, which absolutely blew his mind. The charity he's donating for is going to be Extra Life, which does some amazing things for hospitalized children. and the new date is August 29th. So definitely tune in for that. He's going to be doing some amazing activations for games that want to participate in that and want to be part of like a charity event, which is really good for their brand. Hit up DMs with Sam and we'll get you situated for that. So Sam's charity activation on August 29th. Do not forget that. All right. Next segment here, y'all. Fake ads. Chad or Chump. There is an epidemic of fake ads. You probably have seen them on Twitter too. I actually scroll Twitter and I see all these fake ads all the time. From the one with a giant queen that says level 100, eating all the peasants from level 1 to 99, to the endless runner where the bullets continuously fire into the barrels and enemies. That has almost got me like 99% of the time. Seriously. Upon downloading these games, you typically find out that they're actually downloading a 4X game. Why, you might ask? Well, the answer is because 4X games are amongst the best monetizers in all of gaming, mobile gaming. Sometimes the game that was advertised to you was straight up non existent. Other times it's a small mini game that's accessible somewhere in the 4X category. And the reason for this is because the ads have a better conversion rate when they advertise this way. So are the Chads for finding an advertisement loophole that works so effectively, or Chumps for misleading innocent gamers? Oh, there was a lot of hands that shot up, and I have no clue where to start. Lems, lifeline.
All right, I'll give you the lifeline, and I'll just throw my own take that, fuck this, the chumps. Everyone's a goddamn chump with the fake ads. But more importantly, Sam asked this in the Wolves and Friends Telegram chat earlier, and there was some pretty good responses. We actually got a split opinions of like some pros, some against. So we got a few here. We got Justin Lucas. The app stores are just as much chumps in this exchange. They've let too many games through. They have screenshots that don't match the gameplay. They lift or trademarked IP as part of their names and logos or descriptions, and the process to get them removed is cumbersome and archaic. We got Annie from my fellow lizard. Chumps, I immediately uninstall when the game isn't like the ads. Soon AI will be advanced enough for me to cheaply sick a bot and DDoS their game for this blatant misrepresentation. But then on the other side of the fence, which is really interesting, this one from Gaspod saying, Chads, while it is a lie to get you through the door, if you then stay and play afterwards, when you see it was a lie because you're enjoying yourself, then they have done is made sure that you weren't judging a book by its cover. Thought that was a really interesting take. And then, Dub, I'm going to read yours, so I'm going to be spoiler if this was your actual take, was that they're Chads, forget the status quo of being a good person. It's a tool used by the big government to keep us compliant and not ask us drone pigeons questions. So I should just use that as a cue to throw it over to Dub.
That's amazing. Go ahead, Dub. You can go for it, and then we'll go with Steven and Coach. Dude, everybody has something to say on this one. I'm very excited to hear everybody's take. Dub.
First of all, I couldn't hear limbs whatsoever. I just decided to let that ride as an option, pure of choice. So whatever I said, if it counteracts that, I'm sorry. But it's really easy to call these guys chumps for being bad people and yada yada, like we all do in human nature and that crap. But really, these guys are chads. I mean, they are taking advantage of a situation and making it work. It's the same thing as like watering down vodka, like freaking send it. They're the same dudes that have 8 versions of Solitaire up in the Play Store right now that they're monetizing for millions of dollars. They see a situation and they take advantage of it. And you know what? Like, sorry, you're not smart enough to be the guy doing it and willing to do it because you're missing out. But ultimately, I imagine that this loophole or whatever that they're using right now is going to get blocked. There's going to be some sort of like way of reviewing ads for integrity, and then they'll get taken down and blacklisted or whatever. The world will course correct, and good will prevail overall. But don't shame these guys for doing what's like right in front of them and obvious to do.
Yeah, I want to go to Koji next. Koji, I'm sorry if we go out of order, guys. I saw all the hands pop up. I don't know what, but I'll go with Koji next.
Yeah, my hand was probably the last one up, but I appreciate you calling on me anyway. I mean, they're obviously chumps, but we're also fucking chumps. For anyone who clicks on these ads is a fucking small-brained idiot, and I know that. I know that because I wish I could like link it there. I think it was. Oh, I just got a call coming in. There's a game that is basically made up of these fake games, but they made them real. And then when you play them, they're utter garbage. So like even the fake games are trash, you know, but we're like, "Oh, this looks cool. Let me click on this." Like, come on. You know, like we should know better. I mean, they shame on them, but also shame on us. And I kind of like when I was listening to Dub, I was like, I don't know if I agree with this take, but I kind of agree with like, yo, man, like you got to take some responsibility for yourself here. Like you're buying into garbage to begin with. It's not like they're selling you a game that fucking looks like the next Call of Duty or whatever. It's like, hey, should I multiply by 2 or should I subtract 5? And you're like, oh, I could play this game. So anyway, it's your fault.
Yeah, it's
Is
like
that
going to
from
fast
personal
food and then they
experience?
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I played. There's like a version of this game that you can play that it like they made these fake games real, and they're all bad. So and still our brains are like, oh, maybe I should click on this. Maybe this time I can save the princess from, by pulling the sticks out of this castle or whatever. Like, you fucking idiots.
yeah, that's hilarious. Like it's like going to fast food and they mess up your order, or like you're really surprised. Unless it's Chick-fil-A, then it's just like, hey, you tell me whatever I need to eat and I'll eat it. Steven.
Yo, this topic is like pretty funny because I'm one of the idiots that actually fell for this scam. I actually clicked on one of the ads and I played it for actually a few hours, and I spent $15 before figuring out that I got scammed. It was probably like one of the most disgusting feelings ever. I'm not gonna lie, but to be honest, like I don't think we can fully blame like the developers here for what's happening. I honestly think there's like a bigger problem in the mobile gaming industry, and I think like the root cause of it really started with like the IDFA removal. Like Apple overnight basically like killed effective tracking of ads, and it increased CPI for mobile game developers by like 5 to 10x, and it just made people really really desperate. And this like fake ad stuff becomes more prevalent because if your competitors are doing it and you're not, like you're just gonna die out, because their UA costs are just a lot cheaper than you. So like I definitely think it's like immoral, but I also think it's like a wider industry problem. And this is one of the issues with like centralized control, right? One platform can just like completely change an entire industry overnight. And I think because of that, it makes an even stronger case for like Web3, which is like much more permissionless and decentralized.
Great take, great take. I want to go to the Golden Gun next because he's coming from Uptick Marketing. What's your take on it, buddy?
Yeah, dude, this I'm gonna give me a second here, Peyton. But everybody involved in this is both a Chad and a Chump. You from the game developer side, and mostly what I'm gonna beat up on is you as a fucking consumer. Um, Listen, the game developer and the ads people, their job is to get people into the game, right? And they do that however they need to do. Peyton, you use the exact example, right? 4X is the perfect example of this. No 4X game ever leads with actual gameplay, but they get you in, you start playing it, and you're like, I'm building a fucking city right now. This fucking rules. I'm hunting polar bears and shit, right? And they do an incredible job of keeping you and monetizing you, right? But when people are displayed an ad of a 4X game, they want nothing to do with it, right? If they show you building the city, it's everybody gets bored and nobody wants to do it, right? So they're good. They're doing their job by getting people in the game. It's a little bit of a chump move. It's misleading or whatever. But like, why are we acting like this is a games industry problem? Right? Like your car doesn't go 0 to 60 in fucking 4.3 seconds. Right? It goes 0 to 60 one time on the fucking Bonneville Salt Flats on an 85-degree day with like a north to south wind. You know what I mean? And like it's everywhere. You know what the original fake ad was? The fucking game trailer that had nothing to do with the actual game, right? This has been a games industry thing going on forever. I think we just see it now because it's just in our face all the time. But like the games, what Koji said, like the games themselves would be ass, and the fact that somebody's playing them terribly is like a total strategy that people do on the ad side, right? Because you're like sitting there like this game can't be this hard, right? I got to go in and play it. So Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought. I got distracted by something. I'll tap back in a second, Peyton.
No, it's all good. I'll just poke fun at Steven that he spent $15 on a fake rug scam that's not in crypto. So we can go with Matthew next. And by Matthew, I mean Stardust.
Well, yeah, I think exactly to Jerry's point. It's obviously the consumer that's getting sucked in by what are undeniably good techniques for drawing users in. Where it gets like morally muddy for me though, and why I think these people are chumps. Not the game developers, the people who are involved in this system of creating these shitty apps that you then put more shitty ads on for more shitty apps, and it creates this loop. Because I think, especially in the free to play mobile space, you get a lot of these ad networks who are creating these shitty mobile games just to pump more ads into, and that's where I think users can get lost and go astray into this world of mobile gaming where no one cares anymore about how fun the game is. They're just using it to farm you for ads. And a stat that like this is probably well known, but one of the crazy things I learned like a year ago was that games make more money if you don't turn off the ads, like the $3 for no ads or whatever. So I think that like with that in mind, it's much more important that we think about ourselves as consumers and how we're engaging with these ads. What are we clicking through? How like is this a game that we want to support? Or is this something that we're just going to get rugged $15 for?
Good point. Well, Matthew, I'm going to toss it back to you.
Yeah, thanks for that. I mean, the thing is that I've worked in the mobile gaming industry for like, I guess, 10 years now. And a lot of this is not down to any decision in the devs or even in the marketing department. This is something that is just naturally outsourced to a bunch of SaaS companies. And it depends on how your configuration is, but they are literally just following the trends algorithmically. These ads generated, and they will be generated and probably are generated now with AI. And the weirdest one is we ended up with like the best performing ad, one that actually made a difference to the entire company bottom line, was a woman dancing playing one of the apps. And it was so strange that this lady dancing was even pulled up in the stock market reports and all of this kind of stuff, because just one ad hits right and it works. And then everyone copies this. I mean, I know IDFA, and there's an incredibly valuable point that IDFA has actually shaved 20% off the entire dollar value of the mobile industry. But before IDFA, there were many, many fake ads. And the only reason why these fake ads hit is because algorithmically it works better. And the funny thing is, a lot of these ads, arbitration companies actually go on to found their own studios. So you might have seen the success of like Homescapes and Gardenscapes. Actually, out of that, an ads arbitration company set up, I think it was Lionsgate or some weird studio name, to make Matchington Mansion. And the same sort of thing happens. It just churns over and over. These are a sort of a byproduct of the limited attention span. They grab you, they drop you in. They're not even chats or anything like that. It's literally a byproduct of the fact that we have such a short goldfish level attention span. You need something to catch you out. You would never make a game as simple as what is shown. And actually, the most performing ads, my co-founder is at Voodoo, the most performing ads are the ones where the person plays terribly. Even if it's a true ad of the gameplay, if the person plays badly, then you get way more conversion than if they do what you would do. So it's really a state of just irritating people enough to care about the game. You have to give them that level of to make them remember it, you have to piss them off. And like these are designed to piss you off. And that's the point.
Dude, that's so like you just saying that. Like I like just shoot the guy, just shoot the guy, just shoot the guy. I'm like watching it. Like the retention rate is obviously freaking crazy. Just like maybe if I just scroll up one and then somebody will actually freaking shoot him. Never does. You're blowing my mind over here, Matthew. Jerry. Oh, actually, Knock. Sorry. Then we'll go to Jerry to finish it off.
I think the key takeaway here is consumers are fucking stupid. I think it's
Thanks,
Chad's on
Knock.
the side of
Right
the
after I
guys
talk.
making.
Appreciate it.
the guys who are making these fake ads are fucking chads. I don't care what anybody says. If you can deliver one shitty run through of a guy playing a game incorrectly, deliver it to 56 different content creators who don't even react to the thing that's on screen correctly, and still get people to download your game because they think it's real, good for you. From the consumer side, you're chumps, man. Like, if you know it's fake, you know it's fake before you click the game. You go through it, and I know that this is true because I do it all the fucking time. I see the guy fuck up the game, I get mad, I download the game, I play it for 10 minutes, this sucked, and then I do it again with the next game. It's like a repeat cycle. Once a week, I download some fake bullshit game that I know is fake. I play it anyway because I'm a chump, and so are all of you who are downloading these games. I think it's like it's a broader signal of like consumerism, especially in the United States. One of the things that shocked me when I was in the States last was I saw like a drug commercial on TV, and it was like, hey, you have high blood pressure, take this medication. You might lose your fingers, your ears might fall off, you might fucking die, but at least your blood pressure is dropped. And people are like, yeah, that sounds great, I'm all in. I think that this is like an extension of consumer behavior, especially in North America. It's ridiculous. We're idiots, we're easy to fool, and I think that teams that are taking advantage of this, yeah, you're kind of a shitty person, but it's hard for me to fault you because it's working.
Yeah, 100%. That's definitely a collection, Charlie, called Chumps. We just download terrible ads as a DAO. That'd be freaking amazing. Jerry.
I remembered what I was going to say, and I just want to give an extra chump vote to the people who pushed so hard about like data and like privacy, and like there's parts of privacy that are super needed, but like it's just hard to target people with the shit that they want to see right now because everybody thinks they're a fucking somebody, and no, everybody's like, I don't want my data to be sold, and it's like, just so you guys all know this, as an individual, of all of the 200 people that are here, nobody gives a fuck about your data, right? They give a fuck about your data in aggregate and your cohorted data, but you as an individual, you would be shocked how little value your data is worth. If you ever want to talk about this, I'm happy to talk about it. Nothing makes me happier than telling people that they're meaningless, right? But your data is just worth so little actual money. But some fucking dude in like Duluth, Minnesota, who's a congressman, was like, we need to fucking change ad laws and privacy laws. And it just made it really hard to target people now. And so thus you get really bullshit ads for really bullshit games, and they piss you off, but you asked for this problem. Like, you wanted this problem back in 2016 when this argument first started coming up, right? And nobody knew the long tail effects of something like this, but this is one of them. You don't get to see the shit that you're actually interested in. You get bullshit stuffed down your throat because of things like this. And so deal with these fucking cut the rope ads where you're like, fucking cut the bottom rope. Shoot the guy, Peyton, right? We all do it. And last chump vote goes to the people that say like, I don't know who this shit works on, because it's you, it's all of us, right? We all have a friend who's like, this shit doesn't work on me, and it's like, yeah, it does, or otherwise people wouldn't do it.
No, it definitely works on me. I was wondering, Charlie, whenever Jerry was kind of doing his monologue, when your hand was going to be raised, especially during that privacy data thing. I'm very curious to see where it's going to go. But to Sam next.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Jerry real quick because he was saying we were all assholes for saying do not track us. Jerry, do you, whenever it pops up, be honest, do you say ask app not to track, or do you say track away, baby?
Those tactics don't work on me, Sam. I don't know who falls for those things. I know I pressed the ask app not to track.
Exactly, you fucker.
Yeah, working it uptick and doesn't say ask after trap. Freaking hilarious. Charlie, what's up, buddy? Then we'll end with Lems.
Thanks for that, Sam. That was the right question to ask there. Like, I think privacy is one of those things that doesn't matter until it does. Like, I will always advocate for privacy and like that type of stuff. But I totally agree with what you're saying, Jerry. Like, as an individual, it doesn't matter, but I don't think that's really the distinction. The distinction is whether privacy is important or not. And I believe it is, and like a fundamental right you have as a person. On a side note, this is fucking wild that people think these guys are chads. Like, this is. Do you guys think like Bernie Madoff was like a great investor or something? Like, do you guys like love him too? Like, what are you fucking talking about? That these guys aren't anything but chumps? Like, this is like straight fraud. As far as I'm concerned, it's fucking criminal. Like, because at some point you're like literally stealing money from people. Like, yeah, you got there and you just hit the dollar amount, but like,
It's a free game, man. It's a free game. You're not stealing anything. You're just stealing attention.
Not Steven, Matthew.
Oh God. This is like, I feel this way even too about like cheating in games. I think like cheating in games and especially cheating in online games should be like a criminal offense. I think it's like breaking terms of service. I think it's like ruining experiences for people online who spend good money. I think it's like a really negative experience on like society to have like that type of behavior. And I think just pushing out fake ads and it's like, yeah, maybe we're all in our 30s and that's fine. Like you can have some individual right and like consumerism and like try not to be a chump and like consume that stuff. But a lot of the stuff is going to like 13, 14-year-old kids who like are super impressionable and they will spend money. And like, I think it's fucking disgusting. Like these guys are chumps. They're horrible people. I think it's like absolutely vile to push out what are clearly very addictive, like almost like predatory in nature, similar to like, I'd say like some really like early like gambling stuff. But I think this is disgusting. They're chumps and it's horrible.
You're a chump.
If that's
That's
chumps, then so is selling lemonade on the street, Charlie. Same thing.
I don't think that's the same thing, Dub. But we're gonna,
is that the same thing, Dub? What the fuck?
There's food and beverage laws for a reason, Charlie, and I don't think they're following those correctly at all.
Where is
man,
your brew food and beverage license? Let me see it, kid.
hilarious. Redemption arc is
Yeah,
freaking
that actually
never.
happened. They get arrested for that sometimes in the UK.
Matthew, you had probably something to either pile on to what Charlie's inspirational speech was, but go for it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get that you say that they're chumps for doing this, but actually, in general, we do not want kids to download the game and spend money. Like, the reason is they generate chargebacks. Chargebacks are far more expensive than just giving people back the money. Every single time that, say, King or Candy Crush or whatever mobile game gets a message that, you know, someone spent $5,000 on my card. I don't want this. I never bought it. We delete the account. We give the money back immediately. And it costs us fuck tons of money and it pisses everyone off. The people who do this are ads arbitration services that you have to use when you're doing ads because you do not have the amount of people to make all of this bullshit content in your company. So you just do it algorithmically. You just learn which one's better. The people who are doing it are basically, you know, as immoral as real estate agents. So, you know, hate the people who make the ads because they're the ones who do it. But definitely the games companies and developers do not want your child to be addicted to the game. They do not want any of this. They will pay that back that money and they will turn themselves in circles to avoid that negative publicity.
Dude, Matthew, it was really well spoken. I feel like you're competing with Knock for Ty Lopez reward. I guess that's not probably a good reward to give out. But Lems, we can end it with you, buddy, and then we're gonna move on to something that Charlie Blockstock actually tweeted out this week.
All right, I was gonna just read comments, but then Jerry, made the nice talk on privacy against like two privacy maxis on the panel here. Like, I fucking love having Charlie here, and like just took everything out of my mouth. Like, Jerry must be just making some of these fake ad bullshit games secretly, and that's why he's just like willing to die on that hill and go to town. But yeah, privacy is a fucking fundamental right, and I'll fight you to death on that, Jerry. But anyway, some comments here as well. Shout out Jaxie, who's saying anyone who says that this is a Chad move is dead to me. So yeah, +1 there for Jaxie. That wins a crew pack for again being on the right side of the fence there. Kaz as well. Shout out to Knock. Always sharing good ideas, deep understanding the space. He's goaded. So just showing some love for Knock there. So another crew pack for you. And then one last one from McChillin, who probably just got the best comment of the entire show. What's worse than fake ads is the releases of Cyberpunk and Starfield. If it's free and fake, then I honestly don't care and I'll just delete it. I'm just like, fucking hell, McChillin. He is McFuego today, and like that is a crew pack for sure. Like, good job, McChillin.
Amazing. You have to change your name, McFuego, from here on out, McChillin. I'm sorry, but it just has to happen. I freaking love it. But yeah, Cyberpunk, I couldn't get past like probably, I don't know, the first like hour in the game. It was so buggy. I completely agree. All right, we are getting into the next topic, and it's fact or fiction. Everyone will launch their own chain. This is actually based off of Charlie Blackstock's tweet. We're getting to a point where launching a chain is as easy as a meme coin. It's hard to say what the long-term effects are, but a couple are killer. One, blockchains are everywhere. Two, products with distribution will launch their own chains instead of using others. Is that statement fact or fiction? And Jerry, I saw those. And then there was a tie between Dub, Matthew, Charlie, and then Knock. So go ahead, Jerry.
Charlie was a chump last time, but he's a Chad for saying this. in this topic, and I am fully in support of what Charlie says here. I think like it's only getting easier to do like blockchain related things, and you know, and we all used to get like anybody who works at a game in Web3 gets pitched by these companies all the time, and it's like you know, it's getting easier and easier to just build your own layer two, or to outsource a layer two and have somebody else build one for you. Like it used to take a really fucking long time. It takes like a couple of weeks now, right? So I think, and I'm fully in alignment with Charlie here. If you're a game building, I don't think you even need to worry about blockchain for a while. I think you just need to focus on building your game and building your product to the best point it can be. Have an idea of what you want to do in Web3, but start to be your own problem solver, because the chains are not going to do it for you. The chains that are out there now that have the big BD teams. Sorry, I'm going to offend some people here. We'll talk about it after. DM me when you're angry. But like the chains generally aren't really supporting games outside of money, right? And there are some exceptions to that, you know, shout out to the exceptions to it. But, you know, a chain's going to give you a grant and they're going to say, here's some fucking impossible KPIs to hit. And you can maybe get some money at the end of that. And, and they're not going to help you hit those, right? So why not just build the shit yourself and not worry about anything, right? You can either build it yourself or start to solve for distribution yourself, start to get to the point where you have a hit on your hands, and then fucking tell them back up the Brinks truck, right? Bring the money to fucking to me, because right now everybody's wanting the other person, the other party involved, to solve, you know, the player liquidity problem. But nobody outside of Ronin has really solved it yet, right? Everybody's wanting the chains to bring the users in. You know, if you're a game, you're saying like, which chain has the most users? I'll go there. The chains are going, which games have the most users? Those are the people I'm going to go to and offer the money to and the grants to that don't have KPIs. We'll just pay them up front, right? So I think just build the shit, and then you know you're not beholden to anybody if you do your own chain. And if you decide not to go that route and you build the shit yourself and it's looking good, they'll offer you the amount of money that you want.
Good take, Jerry. I'm gonna go with Charlie because this topic is about what Charlie tweeted.
Yeah, so I think like the dirty little secret now is that most blockchains are pretty ubiquitous under the hood. Like a lot of stuff is built on like the OP stack or Arbitrum, or like a lot of these chains are really, really similar from a technical standpoint. And I think Luke and Nets actually had a conversation about this with Pudgy Penguins, which is like before, if you wanted to build on chain, it was super fucking difficult. I've been writing Solidity and building on Ethereum since 2016. I've been here for a very long time. Um, and I know how hard this stuff used to be. And so there was always this need to work with a chain first to like actually solve your technical problems. But now there aren't as nearly as many technical problems. Just since we've started this question, I've gone on to Conduit and launched an L3. I've done that since this question started. I have my own custom L3 test rollup running since this question started. That's using USDC as the gas token. So I've launched my own L3 in about 5 minutes, and it's going to cost me $50 a month to run. So that's how easy this stuff is getting, and that's how like insane it is. And so the question becomes, if you're a game like off the grid, why would you stay on Avalanche when you could launch your own L3 and run the whole chain and your whole gas token? Not because like Avalanche isn't a great technical partner or a great chain to be on, but if you're a business with a tons of investors and a lot of value, there becomes this like really interesting dilemma that you have, which is like there's a lot more equity value to running a chain as we currently understand them than there is to be a participant in another chain. And so I think that was, and that's not more of a comment on Avalanche and off the grid specifically. I think the world of both those people, but I'm just talking about in general. Now, since it's becoming so technical, like the technical complexity is becoming so easily overcome, you can just launch your own chain. Then the real the real thing that all chains need now is distribution. And so now games will actually have the thing that a lot of chains need, which is they need gamers and users and people using the chain. And so I think there's going to be this really, again, I don't know what is going to come of this, but I do think it's something to keep an eye on, is that everybody's going to need gamers and chains and distribution and users. And I think it becomes a lot less clear as a developer or as a builder why you should be on any specific chain, when you could just launch your own.
When grants, Charlie?
When grants to layer 3. They're doing a dollar grants, Lems, for anybody that wants to build on Charlie's layer 3. Matthew, you can go next, and then we can go to Dub.
I mean, well, Charlie just took a lot of the words out of my mouth, so I'm going to add some alternative ones as well. I think, yeah, the most important thing for me as a founder is I want a functional business. I want to put the token in the hands of the players as fast as conceivably possible. And coming from a Web2 background, I needed support to do that. And the thing is that all the VCs, they always advise you just, oh, go to this chain. They've got really good grants. Go to Ronin, go to Immutable, go to Polygon. And then the market changes. Then they want to shift around. For me, I just want my fucking game to work. Like I really do. And I've talked to a lot of founders about the whole horrible process of the CEX murder that goes on. And I think we need a pump fund for games where the game token just exists if there's enough people that want to buy it instead of farm it and shit it. And this entire token thing is basically, to me, it's like really shitty Kickstarter where everyone wants a little slice of something, but you're not really bound on the fact that you delivered a good game. You're just bound on the fact that you can pay the money. God knows how much of your fucking runway you have left. You just have to pay the money to get the resources to do it the right way, quote unquote. And it will still get fucking nuked by 95%. And that's what happens every single time. For me, the main difference, as Charlie says, is that building your own chain has a possible billion-dollar market cap as opposed to being stuck on someone else's chain. Then you're in the tens of millions if you're lucky, because everyone is going to fucking dump on you the moment you open that sales portal.
Dang, fire. And I love that line of pump fund for gaming. We actually now have nominated Charlie's Layer 3 as the pump fund chain for us to be able to do it. And we'll also do all of like these mini apps that we talked about and just run ads to all these chumps that are currently on Twitter.
No, I mean, seriously though, like he made an L3 in seconds,
Yeah.
right? For a Web2 guy, I don't know how that happens. If that actually worked for me to get the token in the hands of the people that need it, I would use that over any of the other fucking solutions. I swear to God.
Dude, well, hit up Charlie in
Charlie,
the
you
DMs.
got your first game.
Yeah, that sounds like we got our first game on the chain.
Let's go, gamified chain. Let's go, baby.
Gamified chain, let's go. Dub, you put your hand down, but I don't know if you wanted to add to it.
Yeah. It's just a wild world. I think like drawing a line and saying that absolutely everyone is going to be making their own chain going forward is a bit like too far. Like at the end of the day, like no matter how easy we make this thing, human nature is to be as lazy as fucking possible and like to not be confident in your own decisions. So like no matter what, there's always going to be this like 10% of the population that just wants to sign up for someone else's camp that is already installed and set up, and they just feel safe in doing so and feel like it's the right play in doing so. Like definitely, and for sure, like Ronin, Avalanche, Sui, these guys aren't going anywhere. They're going to keep building. They're going to keep growing and becoming more attractive to everyone else because they have to. Their biggest competition and threat now is the ease of everyone being able to just replicate what they have. So of course their business is going to have to create a better business offer to attract more games and partners to come along for the ride with them.
Good point. Knock.
Oh man, Jesus Christ! Did we not learn anything from everybody in the early days of this space, building everything themselves instead of rallying behind a couple of teams that actually built something? This is the problem with NFT standards. It's why on Solana there are 46 different standards. Why on Ethereum and every other EVM stage there's fucking 700 standards. It's annoying. People try to build shit that they don't need to build themselves instead of focusing on their core competencies. Here's the list of games in Web3 that have a successful enough game where they can focus on building, third-party tech for themselves and not use or leverage a partner in some capacity. Did you get that? That's the whole list. Fucking nobody. There isn't a single team yet who has a
Shrapnel
successful
pen. I guarantee
breakout
you
game
again.
that has a ton of money, that has people playing the game on a daily basis, that is bringing in significant revenue, where they no longer need to rely on a third party partner and they can start to build out things like their own blockchain. Those teams are so far away from happening that it's almost ridiculous for me to like. I hate this idea, right? Spinning up a subnet on Avalanche and Arbitrum is completely different than owning and operating your own entire chain. That is a core business that you have no set of, you don't have a competency in, right? You're trying to build a game, you're trying to build a game in Web3, then you're trying to build a blockchain, then you're trying to go through the legal processes of actually operating a blockchain. Then you need to figure out how to pay that token, where that token goes, how you can raise money, what company can hold that token. It's fucking ridiculous. You know what all that does? It takes away from you building a game and building a product. It's like saying anybody can build a web store. Why does everybody use Shopify? Because it's way fucking easier and somebody has done all the legwork to make sure that the things that you need when building that product exists. They have done the legislative work. They know how things operate in your country. They have the licenses to make sure that that happens. And they bring those licenses to you so you can focus on building a web store. You can focus on building your brand. You can focus on building your game. It is so annoying. One of the things that big companies with money do when there is one of the most successful ways to kill a company that is an upstart in your industry, if you're a large player with a ton of money, is to do fucking nothing at all, because those teams get distracted. They move in 67 different directions. They try to do everything all at once, and then they bleed themselves dry of money, and then there you are, your competitors died. We've seen that happen 100 times in this space before. There will be a day where big, massive games need to decouple themselves from the Avalanche and the Arbitrums and the Solanas of the world. That for sure will happen. It's probably 5 to 10 years out. Most teams in this space are 5 years away from a fucking game. Never mind their own game and their own blockchain and everything else that they're building. I think that this is a conversation that makes sense in 5 years from now. Today, leverage third party partners who have proven tech, who have existed in the ecosystem, who have done all of the legwork that you no longer need to focus on so that you can build the fucking thing that we're all waiting for, which is the game. I hate being this animated, but it's so fucking annoying. I work in a marketplace. I've been here for 3 years. I've seen 1,000 of these conversations for X small company. Let's build our own this. Let's build our own that. They all fucking die because they have no focus. They don't focus on what they're building. They run out of capital. And then the next team comes in, forgets the example that this previous team said, and they do it all again. There are a few teams who can focus on building something that is tangentially related to their product, right? You might need your own indexer. Sure. Plenty of indexes are shit. A lot of teams use either a third party in Reservoir or they build their own thing. Some teams might need their own platform for this or for that, and they build those things specifically. But if there's an option, an existing party that delivers the tech that you need, pick that every fucking time. Build a game, have a massive success, bring in $10 million a month, then start building your own shit. It's ridiculous. You're gonna die if you focus on too many things at once.
Anybody else want to say it, or
Can I frame that on my wall? Is that an option?
knowledge? I'll say it. Steven.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything that was just said. Like, I do think like chains will become more and more commoditized over time. Like, only really launch one if you're ready for all the responsibilities that come with it, and that it's an absolute necessity. Because like, I do understand RAS providers have like made it super easy to just instantly launch a chain. Anyone can launch a chain right now, right? Anyone can launch an L3. But in order to like launch a chain that people can use and build on, like the list goes on of things you need to do. Like you need good dev docs, you need like a working marketplace so people can swap assets, like wallet integrations for accessibility, like liquidity on the chain. You need to do a fuck ton of BD for people to for developer adoption and like audits for security, like block explorers, indexing tools, bridges, like the list goes on, right? And I think that like most games should just purely focus on content. Like I think like you can see historically like the biggest infra successes like Steam, Epic. Steam succeeded because of CS. Epic succeeded because of like Fortnite. Just focus on content, go content first, right? For the past 5 years in like crypto, much of the value has truly gone to the protocols, the chains. I understand that because they were needed because that was the foundational infra piece before building apps and content. But I do think that like for the next 5 years, apps and content will be like the main character because the industry needs them to bring more users. Like that's like our best chance of converting for mass adoption. Um, And I do think that that's like where the value will go, because like it's always the people that are closest to the users that make most of the money, as you can see in the internet space.
No, it's great points. We're gonna do these last three. Koji, Matthew, and then Charlie will be able to have the last say before we end the show. So, Koji.
Yeah, just to push back a little bit here, although I agree with what everyone has been saying, Knox's example of Squarespace or whatever has got me thinking a little bit, and I think it just depends on how you define your own chain, right? Because you can look at it like whatever, Ronin or Name a Chain is like the Squarespace providing the tools for the games to use, or you can look at it like there might be somebody, or there already is somebody spinning up a service that lets you spin up your own chain like a Squarespace. So you don't have to do those audits. You don't have to have all that BD, that security, whatever. It's all like baked in, because it's basically a subnet or something, but like from a consumer perspective, it just seems like it's its own walled off thing, right? And then at the end of the day, you're basically just saying like, okay, well now I have my own chain because it's only me who exists here and the products that I allow to exist here, right? So I think it really just depends on how we look at it, because I think we throw around the term chain a lot, and it can be as specific as running a single application, or running for the purposes of a single application, or being an entire gaming network, right? Like that's how wide the gap is here. And so I think that to bring it back to the original tweet, I think that it's right that eventually all of these games will be running on their own quote unquote chain, but what that actually looks like, or who provides and builds those chains for those games, may not be themselves. That's all I'm saying.
Great points, Koji. And I saw Coop's kind of hand shoot up, and I definitely think this is within the subnet specific route for Avalanche. So I wanted Coop to weigh in too.
Yeah, I'm disappointed I missed a lot of this. It sounds like you guys have been just describing Avalanche without realizing it for a while. That's essentially it. Is just the Square, Shopify for chains. Set up your chain with everything you need. It's interoperable. I feel like people haven't really quite grasped that yet. Like they ask, like, why not build an L3? Well, you're going to silo yourself, and I think that's a really important factor. These chains communicate. You can make it your own single app chain, like off the grid, or you can make it a chain that's built for many games, like Merit Circle or Beam. So there's a lot of flexibility. Just wanted to chime in.
Great chime in, Coop. Yeah, I was like, dude, like, isn't this Avalanche? But I was like, thank you for verifying that for me, Matthew, and then we'll end with Charlie.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really good point from Coop. Like, you are the SaaS that is providing the source when it comes to building a ton of chains and doing all of these things. But I think it depends on the company, and it really depends on like what they're going for. If they really want to build an ambitious project, like let's just say Illuvium or all of that kind of shit, and then when you actually go to what came out of that, IMX and all the rest of it, and you look at the technical support and all the rest, to actually have your own chain requires far more expertise than 99% of people in the industry, because blockchain is basically semi-badly coded. Generally, it's difficult to interact with. It's horrible to try and like even use the most basic of services as a Web2 person. And the reason why you would only go for your own chain, the only reason is because you can entice that sweet, sweet nectar of VC money to be like, hey, we're going to do our own chain and it's going to do this and that and the other. That's the only reason you do it. The reason why you're never going to sign up to Portal Coin is because you need to sell your own token. You don't want to be on fucking Portal Coin because you don't want their coins. The only reason why you come out with a token is because you need to sell it for money to run your fucking studio, because no one can see the crazy ass vision you have and how you're going to onboard the next bajillion gamers. You basically see chains popping up from games companies that have no business doing this and no intention of running them, because they don't know what else to do to raise money in this incredibly difficult environment. It's horrible to see $50 billion into Solana shitcoins when you know that gaming tokens and all the rest of it are just getting fucking dumped on exit. And I think this is really difficult. Like, to run and make your own specific chain, there are too many chains out there with far more utility than you could ever fucking dream of. But to actually talk to the VCs that funded you, they don't really give a shit which one you're on. whichever one is trending on X is basically where they want you to be. And that doesn't matter if you have to realign your entire business and spend God knows how much integrating a new wallet. They don't give a fuck. And the basics of this is the actual functionality of blockchain has kind of dissipated to less than the narrative of which one you're on. And I don't know, maybe Scale is coming up and everyone's on Scale now. Maybe Avalanche is popular because they did a fucking awesome GDC booth. It was amazing. Everyone's on Avalanche. And no one's on Immutable because they didn't go to GDC. It makes no sense. It should be for what your game does and what it needs and the rest of it. So yeah,
It
that's
was
my
good.
horrible
No, I think
take.
you and Naka should definitely have your own show. I think it would be just freaking high octane the whole time. Charlie, end us off, buddy. Send us into the sunset.
I love that Nox said he hates getting that animated. It's like, come on, bud, you love it. You love getting that animated. We know
We
it.
love it.
We love it. No, I think these are all great points, and I just want to amend something I said before. I brought up like a off the grid Avalanche thing. That was more just me trying to come up with an example off my top of my head. So I'm not talking about them specifically. I'm just talking about games and chains in general. So I obviously think the world of Avalanche and think they're building really cool tech. And I think what Coop said is really accurate, which is subnets probably give you a lot of the desire of having an on-chain ecosystem without having to build all the infrastructure. But my point is these L3s and this type of like deploy your own chain stuff is all still super new. It's just like a few months old really of like a lot of teams doing this. And the technology has come so far in just those few months where like all the stuff will be built in. And I start to think of these L3s, kind of like how Koji said, is like really just individual app chains that are very specific. You can almost think of them as a database, although I think chains are much more interesting than just a Postgres database. But like these could just potentially be the chains that your game runs on. And there's a lot of really cool benefits to doing that. When every user interaction is on chain, all your points, your resources, your data, there's a tons of benefits in gaming, especially when we talk about interoperability and people wanting to build stuff on top of your game. If all that stuff is on chain and you can be permissionlessly integrated with on top of it, that really opens up the world of which you're building. Like you can really expand all of your IP to the entire world where it is permissionless, where there's tons of games and ecosystems that are built on top of League of Legends and Riot Games, but those things only exist as long as Riot wants them to exist. And I know this can be true for some chain stuff, but like I think it is a really cool world where games have chains that they're built on top of, and then everybody can start integrating and sharing data on top of that. And so I like to think of chains as not as this what we think of L1s and L2s of right now, but like as these individual app chains that really are like data stores and permissionless ways for us to integrate in a way for gamers to actually bring their data and their expertise and their achievements with them. It's really interesting to have an on-chain future where the second I log into a new game, that game has everything about me known because it's all been on chain. And so I think that's a really cool future that could happen. And I think we're getting closer to that with how easy it is to spin up your own chain.
Love it, Charlie. Koji.
Yeah, really quickly. This has nothing to do with anything we're talking about, but because the show's about to end, and animated Knock just made me think about it. I've been inviting Knock to come climb with me twice a week for the last like month, and he hasn't come. So I'm just publicly shaming him.
Go climb,
And I
Knock.
think you should all publicly shame him until he actually
Shame.
comes. He's like, "Yeah, I really want to." Keeps texting me about it.
Hey,
So
hey, hey, listen,
before the
listen.
show ends off,
What
everyone
he's
just shame him.
Shame.
what he's leaving out is a month ago he said this, and I said should be good after the Korea and Singapore trip in September, and he's just continued to invite me twice a week
Why does this
every
guy
week
act like
since.
he's so
So
busy,
we will.
dude?
Yeah, I know. He's like, you can't just like
Oh
climb
God.
with the boys, man. What's up?
It's Koji.
Yeah.
Did you tell him I'm taking a whole trip to go climb with you?
Yeah, I
I
am too.
know. Listen to this.
It's not
See, this is how
just
much we
freaking
care about
living a
Koji.
life of luxury, just
Yeah,
throwing it
exactly.
away.
Yeah, Knock, you're just
I
wasting the
wish I could
opportunity.
climb. I'm too old for that.
Yeah. Koji, hopefully we did it. Coop, you kind of unmuted for a second or put your hand up. I don't know if you wanted to. Okay, cool. Coop's the freaking man. All right. Okay, we are ending this episode, but I wanted to do a quick round. Like, do not elaborate. Just like one name, MVP. We're just gonna go through it really quickly, and then we will
Done.
end the show. Dub's vote is always Dub. Coop MVP. I know you've only been here for like 5 minutes.
I missed like most of the show, but Knock.
Amazing, Koji.
My MVP is always Coop because I don't want him to file sexual harassment against
Hell
me.
yeah, Matthew.
Oh,
He takes all it takes.
Dub. Okay, two votes. Vote and a half for Dub because Dub, you can't vote for yourself. Knock.
Matthew Buxton.
Matthew. Yeah, he was a rile one today. Lebs.
Charlie, because he's my spirit animal, but shout out to Matthew and Knock as usual. You know, Knock can't always have it. Someone dethrone him today. Like, throw a vote somewhere else.
Facts. Big spoon. Always winning. Jerry, the golden gun.
Yeah, first of all, Lems, follow the rules. He said just a name, and it's Matthew Buxton.
Facts. Charlie.
God damn it, Jerry! I knew I would regret like roasting you last week.
Koji.
Stardust or Wills.
Hell
Man,
yeah,
few
Wills.
words. Steven.
Peyton, because he filled in for Sam.
Love it.
Yeah.
Matthew. It looks like you. Well, actually, Sam. It's like probably the first week you can vote, buddy. Sam, what's up?
Dude, big shout out to both Knock and Charlie. I thought they had underrated weeks. Matthew Buxton also absolutely crushed it. I'm gonna give it to Knock. He had a couple of really good tirades.
Okay, so that's a tiebreaker between Matthew and Knock. The two. Now the reward for you guys is that you guys start a podcast together. So, Sam, how do you want to deal with this, man? I'm definitely going to defer to you. I'm sorry for not taking responsibility here.
It's okay. Yeah, let's give Matthew Buxton 60 seconds of FaceTime. He gets to plug whatever he wants and then give us the ad reads.
Go for it, Matthew.
Yeah, no, thanks for inviting me up today. I guess if I'm going to plug something, I'll plug my game Call of the Void. 200,000 monthly active users. Join them, play on the toilet with one hand, and blah, blah, blah. Sure. Thanks. It's all good.
Love it, love it. And also, I'm going to use, you deferred the next 55 seconds. I'm going to plug Sam's charity event here. Definitely tune in for August 29th, guys. He is going to be doing some amazing feats. And it's the reason why he needs to rest his voice, because I definitely am worried about him, because I care for him as a friend. But love you, dude. All right, as we close out another epic episode of Gamified, number 80. Let's go. Let's throw a snowball-sized shout-out to the colossal force of nature, Avalanche. Avalanche is not just any blockchain. It's a cataclysmic cascade of cutting-edge technology. Why do you do this to me, Sam? The summit of speed and scalability. This is where gaming legends are forged, with titans like Konami, Solo Leveling, Off the Grid, and MapleStory all sculpting their own chains on the unstoppable platform. And now the avalanche of excitement continues with RoboKaiden. Like I mentioned, I slapped cheeks in that game. Now available on Elixir plus console release coming soon. Thanks to Avalanche of being the official blockchain of Gamified. Reload, regroup, and rally around as we salute Shrapnel, the Redemption Arc. What's up, Dub? The strategic superstar spearheading the pulse of Web3 gaming. They're the architects of the arena, the guardians of your gameplay, our sponsors, the official game of Gamified. If you're looking to get involved, there is no time like the present. Shrapnel continues to add more opportunities to engage, earn, and be rewarded. Jump into their Discord and learn more about their quests, the Lunatex, Metal, Mercury, and ecosystem rewards. Watch Dub get clapped in and pretty much get stream sniped the whole time. Before we big ado, let's illuminate the cosmos with StarNet, the stellar ad network that's reimagining the 100 billion spent annually on user acquisition, mostly on mobile ads that piss us off like chumps. Forget the corporate constellations of Google and Facebook. StarNet lets games and apps shine bright, creating a decentralized and fair ad tech galaxy. And now, brace yourselves for Starbase, the shimmering star ship in the StarNet universe. It's the ultimate missions platform for gamers where you can play, complete challenges, and collect gems. Starbase doesn't just spotlight the best playable games in Web3, it embodies StarNet's grand galactic vision. Join the revolution with Starbase and StarNet, the ad network that's truly out of this world. And thank you all so much for coming and making my specific stay. Sam, thank you so much for letting me fill in for you, buddy. Dub, love you. Coop, I love you too, buddy. You're amazing. What you do for Avalanche and what you do for that ecosystem is honestly, you're a legend in all of our books. Matthew, thank you for being fiery as always. Lems, my little lizard. Freaking 3 ounces are burned on this specific trip. Gary, you're the man. Golden gun. You suck at volleyball, but I still love you. Charlie, the big spoon. Dude, I call roomies all the time. Stardust Will, thank you for being a man of very short words, but I love your guys' platform. Steven, $15, man. I feel bad. I didn't send you $15 for USDC. Just send me your wallet address, brother. I'll let Sam pay for it. Good to go. And thank you guys so much. It was a blast. I had so much fun. Sam, let me know when you want to end this thing, because I don't know how to land this plane. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, Peyton did so fucking amazing. Everybody give a quick emoji, shout out, drop a comment. Follow Peyton, give him some love. Absolutely crushed this episode, man. Thank you so much. Lems also last week, just knowing that I can be sick and miss a couple of episodes, and the content is still going to be great, and you guys are going to do this good of a job. Helps me sleep a little bit easier at night. Thank you guys. I love you.
Love you, buddy. Tune in August 29th.